Hey, good evening, everyone. It is Atandra Jones with WGR Now Consulting. Let me check and make sure that I am actually going live in the right group. So let me just check that really quickly. I want to make sure that I'm actually live in the group and not live in on my personal page. So I'm going to try to adjust the camera a little bit and give it a few minutes for some of you to go ahead and pop in. Okay, awesome. Says I'm live now in Train Coach Lead, which is my private group. So I am live in the right place. Yay, yay, yay. And let's see, I think I'm gonna tag a few people. Oh, they switched some of the things around here in okay. All right. Awesome. So this is actually going to be recorded and the replay is going to be available here in the group. And I think I'm going to go ahead and take the audio and put it on the podcast, and also take the video and put it on the YouTube channel as well. So I will go ahead and get started with my introduction. For those of you who do not know who I am Atandra Jones, aka Mrs. Jones, aka Sister Coach A, for those who have worked with me and those who know me really well. I am a wife, I am a mother, I am also an onboarding and employee training and development visionary and genius. My vision is to be a leader in employee service, a leader in team service. And I do this by teaching business owners, company executives, managers, people who lead teams. I do this by teaching you all how to create environments where your teams feel fulfilled with the work that they do with you and the work that they do for you. They feel excited and they are welcoming of new and more challenging opportunities for growth with your company or with your organization. And they feel secure in their positions because they trust their peers and they trust the leaders who are responsible for them. So that is me. That is who I am. That is my vision. As you are popping in, hop in and say hi. Let me know who you are. Let me know where you are watching from. So tonight we are going to talk about how to speak boldly and with confidence. Now, one of the things that I want you to go ahead and do right now, just a little bit of housekeeping, is in addition to grabbing your pad, grab your pen, grab your paper, and get ready to take some really good notes. I want you to have an open mind. Come here with an open mind and come here with an open space. Because the things that I'm going to share with you tonight are not things that you typically find in a class about public speaking. I have taken many public speaking classes. I have watched videos. I have taken courses. I have watched TED Talks. I have done all kinds of different things with regard to public speaking. And what I'm going to share with you is actually very different. So what we're not going to do is talk about, all of the tacticals, right? So this is not going to be one of those, if you want to be a confident public speaker, when you get to the stage, stand up straight, make sure that your feet are 2 feet apart because that shows dominance. This is not going to be one of those. What we're going to talk about tonight is going to get to the core of who you are and the core of what it is, of what's going to be necessary for you to take your public speaking to the next level, so that not only can you feel confident about what it is that you're saying and what it is that you're talking about, but your audience can also feel good and feel confident about you, feel confident about what you're talking about, and really respect you as that subject matter expert, okay? Based on whatever it is that you're talking about, all right? So we're going to go ahead and get right to it. So tonight I am going to give you 3 tips, and you guys got to excuse me. So I am trying out a new set of magnetic lashes tonight. That's one of the reasons why I'm late, by the way. Like I was trying to do this And it's actually kind of annoying. So I think I have decided that I do not like magnetic lashes, because I think what happens is the first time you use them, you know, they work pretty okay. But once you clean them and you try to use them again, it's just not. So I think this weekend I'm just going to go ahead and just make that appointment and go get my lashes done. Because I don't want to have to be doing this right here in all of my videos. So anyway, tonight I am going to be giving you three tips for speaking boldly and with confidence. So let's go ahead and get to number one. The first one that I'm going to give you is speak from integrity. What do I mean by this? What I mean by this is speak from the part of your knowledge that is whole. Okay? So to be integrity with something, to be integrity with yourself, to be integrity in integrity with the subject matter, to be in integrity with your body. When something is in integrity, what it means is that it is whole. And what happens so often is we get these opportunities, or we seek opportunities to speak about things that we don't have a lot of experience in. So maybe this is something that you're just learning. Maybe this is something that you've read in a book. So let's say that you are a coach. Okay, so let's say, like, you know, I'm just gonna pull this out. Let's say you are an MLM leader. Okay, you got a team. You're building your team and all of these different things, right? And so you want to be able to hold meetings. You want to be able to speak at the conferences. You want to be able to speak on your team meetings and things of that nature. You want to speak with confidence, right? And so what you do is you go out. And I see this happen a lot. So I've seen this happen in MLM. I've seen this happen in corporate. I've seen this happen in the restaurant industry when they're trying to talk and they're trying to motivate their employees or motivate their team members. What happens is you go out and get a book. Okay. So we just moved in. So our bookshelf is just kind of getting, it's getting put together. Right. So I'll go over here to the bookshelf and I'll pull out a book. Okay. And I will read maybe 15 pages of the book, right? 10, 20, 15 pages of the book, right? And so you read this book, okay? And you take a few notes and then you go and you start speaking on it, right? And if you are already someone who is working to build your confidence and you're working to be able to speak boldly, and you're working to be in a position where when you open up your mouth, people see you as that subject matter expert, then speaking in integrity is going to be very important for you. So what does this mean? This means that you only speak that which you know. You should never be speaking on topics that you don't know a lot about. And let me explain this, okay? The only way to really know something is through experience. I'm going to say this again. The only way, hey Nahimana, how are you doing this evening? Thank you for joining me. The only way to have knowledge of something is to have experience with that thing. And so just because you read it, just because you studied it in college, just because you studied it in a course that you took, just because you took one of my classes or you took one of somebody else's classes, it doesn't necessarily mean that you know that thing. And so one of the biggest things that is going to support you in your journey to learning how to speak boldly, in your journey to learning how to speak with confidence, is to ensure that whatever it is that you choose to speak on, because we all make choices, right? Right. So most of you in here, if you're not, most of you in here right now on this day. So what is today? Today is what? October the 29th, 2020. So most of you who are in this group right now, because it's still pretty new, you probably don't have a calendar of speaking engagements yet. Okay, so it's probably something that you're trying to build, or if you've got a team, you're new with your team, so you haven't really started speaking very much at the team meetings, or maybe you have, but maybe you just give a testimonial, so you're still new. Okay, so what this means is that you actually have a choice in the things that you are choosing to speak about. All right, so with that being said, it is extremely important that you only speak about those things that you know, because when you have an experience with a thing, that experience, that energetic signature is in your body. You can access that energy at any time, right? And so you can speak from your belly. You can speak from within. The confidence is something that naturally happens because you know what you're talking about. And you know what you're talking about so much to the point to where no one else needs to validate you as an expert in the thing that you have experience in, right? Okay, so let's take me for example, okay? I am here and I am teaching this class tonight. I do have some notes here in front of me, but as you can see, I'm not reading from my notes, right? I took a couple of notes here just because I wanted to make sure that there were some things that I did not miss. Okay, but as you can see in this class, I am speaking from my belly. What I'm doing is I'm tapping into that energy of experience that I already have. Do I have a public speaking certification? No, I don't. Am I a part of Toastmasters? No, I don't. Do I have a TED Talk certification? Do I have anyone else who is backing me up as a subject matter expert on this? Absolutely not. And you know what? I don't need that because I have experience. And because I have experience in public speaking in different forms, in small groups, in large groups, in corporate, in academia, in science, in research, as a mom, as a leader, as an MLM leader, because I have so much experience with those things, then I am speaking from what is within me. And so because I am speaking from that which I have experience, confidence in my subject matter is a natural byproduct of me following that principle. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, give me some hearts, put a 1 in the room. I just want to make sure that I'm not losing anybody, and that this is making sense, okay? So again, you want to make sure that you are speaking from that which you have experience. Now, let me share this with you. I want to share something with you, okay? Remember, I told you at the beginning, you're going to hear some things here in this teaching tonight that you are not used to teaching, that you're not used to hearing, right? I'm going to say some things that most people are not going to tell you, that they're not going to talk about, right? A lot of times, and this is something that you hear a lot, it's like, oh, okay, well, if you're growing yourself as a subject matter expert, you're going to do your Facebook lives, and you're going to do your Instagram lives, or you're going to go live on LinkedIn. What you do is you just grab a book and you read the thing, okay? Read the thing, talk about it, and people are going to think that you really know what you're talking about. Let me tell you what happens with that. Sometimes when you have read something or you have come in contact with something and you're really excited about it, and you really like it and you really believe in it, you can become a good presenter on that thing. Now, what happens is if you are a good presenter on that thing, on the surface, people are going to be looking at you. They're saying, oh my God, you know what? She knows what she's talking about. She speaks with so much confidence. She really knows her subject matter. I'm going to go ahead and hire her. Okay. And so you start to get these opportunities, right? So you start to get opportunities to speak, whether there are paid opportunities as a speaker, whether you start to get if you're an MLM, if you start to get opportunities to maybe run some of the larger team meetings, or maybe you get an opportunity to speak on one of the smaller stages at a conference, or maybe you're a corporate executive, or maybe you're a manager, at a company, or maybe you've got your own company. And so you're speaking to your employees from these things that you have, from these things that you've read. And everybody thinks that you're so confident. Everybody thinks that you're an expert, all of these wonderful things. And so then you start getting opportunities. Well, what happens is you're getting opportunities in a sphere of influence that you don't know anything about. You're getting opportunities to speak on that which you do not know. So then what ends up happening? You go grab another book and you're frantically reading, and you're frantically taking notes, and you're frantically trying to memorize what it is that you learned, or memorize what it is that you picked up from the website, or memorize what it is that you picked up from the book, right? And so you go to the next opportunity. And so it's like, okay, great. Yeah, she really knows what she's talking about. You get another opportunity, and that opportunity is even bigger than the other one. But remember, you still don't have the experience with the thing that you're talking about. What happens is if you go down this path, eventually you will come up against an opportunity that will expose you. And unfortunately, for a lot of leaders, for a lot of coaches, a lot of managers, a lot of people in corporate America, even a lot of people who are MLM, what happens is by the time you hit that threshold where you're about to be exposed, the stage is so big at this point, right? Whether it's virtually or in person, or whether it's, you know, with your corporation or whatever, the stage is so big at this point that the exposure is embarrassing. And so when you have embarrassing experiences, what's the first thing that happens? You lose all of your confidence. And so very important that if you are really looking to speak with boldness, if you are really looking to speak with confidence, that you make it a principle, you make it a point to only speak on that which you actually have the experience. Okay, when you do that, your confidence is naturally going to come through. All right. Okay, so number 2. So this one can be a bit of a controversial topic depending on the circle that you're having this conversation in. And so I'm going to give you what it is that I teach the people who work with me on. This is what I'm going to say. Okay. Tip number 2 is enunciation. Here's the thing about enunciation, and I want to make this very, very clear. Okay. Enunciation is not designed for you to hide your accent. I'm going to say this again. Enunciation, the purpose of enunciation is not for you to hide your accent. So if you are from the East Coast, if you are from Sudan, if you are from India, if you are from California, if you are from deep down south here in Mississippi, it does not serve you. I'm going to go ahead and say this because this is going to be the opposite of what you are going to hear from most people who teach about public speaking. Okay. This is going to be the opposite of that. Enunciation is not so that you can hide your accent. The only reason for enunciation is so that the words that you speak can be understood and heard from afar. I'm going to say that again. The only reason for enunciation, the only purpose for enunciation is so that the specific words that you speak can be heard from afar, so that people can differentiate between the words that you are using. But it is not so that you can hide your accent. Now, unless, you know, maybe changing your accent is something that you want to play with. It's something that you want to change just because you desire to have a different experience, or you're like, you know what, I was born in the South and I talk this way. You know what, I want to know what it's like to have a different experience. Let me play around with some different accents and see which one I like. Then that's a completely different situation, right? Because that is you saying, okay, this is me. I love me. This is a part of me. And I want to expand my range in this area of my life experience. I want to expand my range in this area of my life. So I'm going to play with different accents. But if that is not the purpose for you changing your accent, then what you've got to understand is your willingness and your ability to be unapologetically yourself is what will unlock your confidence. And it is also what will allow your confidence to be felt and to be witnessed by the people who you desire to speak to. You must understand that while you may feel like you have a universal message, so if you are a speaker, if you are a trainer, if you are an MLM leader, if you are a manager, if you are a corporate executive, you may, yes, your message may need to be heard, but your message really only needs to be heard by the people who are supposed to hear that message from you. And a huge part to unlocking your confidence in your public speaking is for you not to judge yourself and not to hold yourself in contempt for the way that you speak. I have seen this time and time and time again. I have seen people from different countries who live in America and decide that they want to start public speaking. And now all of a sudden they've got to get rid of their accent. So they have convinced themselves, or they have allowed somebody to convince them that because you're here in this country and this particular group of people speaks in this way, then you've got to drop your accent. And so what happens is when they begin their speaking journey, you see it's really, really awkward. It sounds really, really weird because it's like, okay, because I can tell when you're speaking that you're not being yourself. And the sad part about that is behind this facade that you are trying to present to other people so that you can be accepted, I can see who you really are. I can see that you are really a subject matter expert. I could really see that you really know what it is that you're talking about, but it's not coming across that way because you are holding yourself in contempt. You are judging yourself based on the way you speak because you feel like because I don't speak like the other people who are in this crowd, then I won't be accepted. When the reality is, it is your willingness and your ability to be unapologetically yourself and who you are that will unlock your confidence in your speaking, and it will project your message to the people who are supposed to hear it. Okay? Now, the third tip that I'm going to give you this evening is to release yourself from the outcome. Release yourself from the outcome. It's very easy when you are speaking publicly, whether you're speaking on a Facebook Live like I'm doing tonight, if you are speaking to a virtual audience at a conference, if you're speaking in a team meeting, if you are speaking, wherever it is that you're speaking, it is very easy to get caught up in the outcome. Why? Because we want to be heard. We want to be understood. We want to be respected for what it is that we're talking about. And so you've got this great content that you've put together, right? You've got this experience and you're like, I am going to put my experience in words in a way that someone else can experience or at least partially experience what it is that I've experienced. I have created this training for my team and I am going to go in here and deliver this training. And so you start delivering the training, you start speaking, and then in your mind it's, are they listening to me? Is anybody paying attention? Oh my God, he's yawning. Does that mean he's bored? What if everybody gets up and leaves? What if I get booed? What if at the end when it's time what if at the end when it's time to clap, nobody claps and everybody just leaves, right? And so you're so attached to the outcome because you want the outcome to be great, right? Like you want that standing ovation. You want your team to come back and say, you know what, coach, that was great. That was awesome. I really, really appreciated that. I learned so much. Like you want that positive feedback, but your focus on that positive feedback is taking away from your confidence. And it's taking away from your audience being able to really get the gems that are inside the content that you are presenting to them. And so when you're so concerned with the outcome, what happens is that casts this big, huge shadow over the fact that you really are a subject matter expert. Okay, so you say, okay, well, how do I release myself from the outcome? So I'm going to give you a major tip. So we can call this like 3.5, right? Because this is part of tip number 3. But I'm going to give you the biggest tip that I can give you to help you understand what it means to release yourself from the outcome when you are speaking. That tip or that tool, that strategy, is for you to stay in your own body. I'm going to say that again. The best way to release yourself from the outcome is to stay in your own body. Yes, there is an audience. Yes, there are people on your Facebook Live. Yes, there are people on your Zoom meeting. Yes, there are people in the audience if you are on stage. Yes, there are people in the boardroom if you are making a marketing presentation about the new direction that you feel like the marketing department needs to go in your company. Yes, there are people, and there are lights, and there are pens, and there are paper, and there are people who are paying attention, and there are people who are not paying attention, and there are people who are getting up in the middle of the talk, and there are people who are staring at you, and they're staring deeply into your eyes, and it looks like they're trying to stare into your soul. Yes, that is true. But for you, as the speaker, as the one who is delivering this content, as the one who is delivering and facilitating this training, or delivering this message, whatever it is that you're doing, for you, in those moments when you are speaking, the most important thing at that moment is you. The second most important thing is your message. And then your audience comes after that. Now, when I say that, I can already hear, some of those limiting beliefs, and it's based on some of the other things that you've been taught, right? When I say that, it's like, wait a minute. No. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's about my audience. I have been given this message because these people need my message. I am facilitating this training because my team needs this training. It's about my team. It's about my audience. It's about my boss. It's about my people. It's about the people on the Facebook Live. It's not about me. Blah, 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 blah. Here is the thing. You are no good to anybody else, whether it is your superiors, whether it is your team, whether it is your audience. You are no good to anybody else if you are no good to yourself. You must take care of yourself first. It must first be about you. And yes, your audience needs your message. And yes, your team needs your training. And yes, the board in the room needs that presentation. And yes, your audience on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn or Periscope or whatever, yes, they need what it is that you have. But they will never get the message if you can never deliver the message. And the only way that you can deliver the message is if you are present with yourself first. The only way that you can deliver the message is if you are present with yourself first. So those are the 3 tips, the 3 things that I wanted to share with you tonight about how to speak boldly and with confidence. So this is public speaking for leaders on a completely different level than what it is that you're used to, right? So let's go back over those 3 tips again. Number 1, you're going to speak from integrity. In other words, you're only going to speak from the part of your knowledge that is whole. You will speak from that which you have experienced, not from that which you have read. Okay. Number 2 is understanding that enunciation is not there for you to hide your accent. It is only there so that the words that you speak can be differentiated and can be heard from afar. Okay, so if you're speaking on stage, you want to be sure that if there are 10,000 people in that audience, right, then you want to make sure that the 10,000th person way in the back of the audience can clearly differentiate all of the words that you're speaking so that nobody gets confused, but not to hide your accent. And then number 3 is to release yourself from the outcome. And you release yourself from the outcome by remaining in your own body. Okay? So, Before I go on, because I have something for you all. So before I go into what it is that I have for you all, what questions do you have? If you've got some questions, go ahead and type them in the chat. If you've got some value from this teaching tonight, go ahead and type that in the chat as well. Let me know what the biggest takeaway for you was tonight. And I will give you all a few minutes to get that done. And I am going to, let's see if I can pull up my calendar here. Who's got questions? Does anybody have questions? Anybody have any questions? I know there's a little bit of a delay on Facebook. If you've got a question, throw up some hearts so that I know to wait for your question. Because I know there's a little bit of a delay. If you don't have any questions, I'm going to go right ahead into what it is that I have for you all next. Okay, I do not see any questions popping up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go into what I have for you guys next. Okay, so those are the 3 tips that I had for you tonight. Now this gets deeper. There are so many other layers to this. This is public speaking for leaders. So this is a completely different ball game. This is not for people who want to play games. This is not for people who just want to be known for no reason, just because you want to get popular on TikTok or whatever the situation may be. This is for people who are in business or who are in corporate, and you have teams that you are supposed to be looking after. You have teams that you're running. You have employees that you're responsible for, or maybe you're in MLM and you have teams that you're responsible for, or maybe you are a speaker and you speak on something that is of value, and you want to make sure that you're able to take that into the next level. So what I've got for you guys is a 4-hour masterclass. Okay, I'm going to spend 4 hours with you. So tonight, what I did was I gave you some of the basics. I gave you a very high level view of what it means, of what it looks like for you to be a great public speaker, for you to speak with boldness, for you to speak with confidence, for you to speak in a way that the people that are listening to you are going to be able to receive your message, and you can feel confident and you can feel really good about that. But I'm going to take 4 hours, 4 hours, where we're going to get down into the tacticals, we're going to get down into the practicals, we're going to get down into the deep nitty gritty. Okay, I'm going to give you some actionable tools, some actionable tips, things that you can actually take away and do during that 4-hour masterclass. We are also going to have live role play opportunities, right? So if you don't know anything about me, I am a trainer to the core. I got into training and development when I was like 18 years old. So that was like many years ago. All right. And so I am a trainer. I am a trainer to the core of my bones. That is who I am. That is what I do. And so what I'm going to do in this 4-hour masterclass is I'm going to train you. Right? I'm going to teach you some principles. I'm going to teach you some things. I'm going to train you on how to do those things. And then we're going to have live role play during the class. And then I'm going to coach you through that. So remember, the name of this group is called Train, Coach, Lead. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach you the principles. I'm going to train you on exactly how to do it. And then we're going to have live role play where you're going to actually get to come on the screen with me. And I'm going to coach you through your speaking and coach you through those things that we have talked about. Okay, it's gonna be recorded, so you don't want to miss the live. So this is what I'm gonna say: you don't want to miss the live training, because in the live training, that is where I'm going to you're gonna get the live role play, right? So we're gonna do the role play. You're gonna get that live coaching in addition to the lesson, and we're also gonna have some live Q&A at the end, right? So you don't want to miss the live teaching. But if you do happen to miss the live teaching, then I'm gonna give you guys access to that recording for 7 days. You'll have access to the recorded class for 7 days. All right. If you want to sign up for that class, you are going to go to let me see. Hold on. Let me make sure that I got the link right, because I think I may have. Okay. Yes. So you are going to go to bit.ly/TCL public speaking. bit.ly/T like Tom, CL public speaking. If somebody can type that into the chat, that would be great. bit.ly/TCL public speaking. Now, let me go ahead and tell you, my hourly rate is $197 an hour. Okay, so we can just call that $200 an hour. That's typically my hourly rate. Okay, so for me to do a 4-hour masterclass, that's roughly about $800 in value. Okay, but I am going to do this masterclass for you all, 4 hours for $97. Now, let me tell you what else you're going to get outside of that class, right? So remember, you've got the 4-hour master class where we're going to go through the tacticals, we're going to go through the practicals. I'm going to give you actionable steps, actionable strategies that you can actually use to help increase to help take your public speaking to the next level. We're going to have live role play opportunity where I'm going to coach you through exactly what it is that I'm teaching you. You're going to have access to that recording for 7 days after the live masterclass, and I'm actually going to give you Voxer access to me for those 7 days. So what does that mean? That means that for those 7 days, you will be able to jump on Voxer as you are working through, okay, as you are working through the things that you learned in the masterclass, and you will be able to jump on Voxer and ask me questions. So if you got coached in the live role play and you're saying, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go work on this, or I'm gonna do this part of the homework, or I'm gonna do this part of the assignment, and you're working on it, and you say, oh my God, like I don't know how to do this, or I've been struggling with this thing right here. You'll be able to hit me on the walkie-talkie and say, hey, Coach, listen, I've got a Facebook Live that I'm supposed to be doing tomorrow, and I've got, for some reason, there's this paragraph, and I'm trying to say it, and it's just not coming out right. Can you listen to it for me and let me know what it is that I can change? I'll be able to offer you that live feedback. Okay, so we're going to go back over this again. This is going to be for $97. Okay, $97. You're going to get a 4-hour masterclass on public speaking. We're going to go through the tacticals and the practicals of public speaking. You're going to have live role play opportunities. You're going to have access to that replay, okay, in a portal with a username and a password for 7 days. And you're going to have Voxer access to me for 7 days. And we're going to do all that for $97. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. I've never seen anything like it. And you want to go ahead and jump on this now, because what's going to happen is after the masterclass, then if you don't jump in with the $97 and you're not with us live and all of that, and I've already recorded the class, we've already done everything, in order to get the class, that class by itself is going to be $197, and you'll be purchasing the class, so you'll be able to see the training, you'll be able to see the teaching, you'll be able to see the role plays, but you won't be able to you won't be able to ask me questions. You won't get the Voxer access. You won't get any of that, right? So those are the 2 choices that you have. It's totally up to you. $97. You can get that at bit.ly/TCL public speaking. bit.ly/TCL public speaking. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you got a lot of value out of this. If you have any questions, if you're listening to this on the podcast, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and type those there into, I think there's like a chat or something that's available on the podcast. If you're in the Train Coach Lead Facebook group, then you can type any questions here in the chat. If you're listening on the podcast or you're watching on YouTube, you definitely want to get into my Train Coach Lead Facebook group, because this is really just the beginning of what it is that we're going to be doing in here. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. I love you all so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.